There are machines that define eras, engines that don't just power cars. They alter the trajectory of what's possible. The BMW S85 V10 is one of them, born in the early 2000s at the intersection of Formula One ambition and road-going audacity. This engine wasn't designed to be practical. It wasn't built to satisfy efficiency standards or appeal to market research. It was built because a group of engineers at BMW M Division asked a single dangerous question. What if we brought the racetrack to the road? What emerged was a 5.0-liter naturally aspirated V10 that revved to 8,250 RPM, an engine that screamed like a Formula One car and delivered power with surgical precision. This is the story of the S85, the engine that changed everything. To understand the S85, you have to understand the moment it was conceived. The year was 2004. BMW had just won the Formula One Manufacturers' Championship with Williams. Their P84 V10 engine was dominating circuits around the world, revving past 19,000 RPM, producing over 900 horsepower from an engine no larger than a suitcase. Inside BMW's M division, something shifted. The engineers had tasted perfection. They had built an engine that existed at the absolute edge of mechanical possibility, and they couldn't let it go. So they made a decision that defied logic, defied economics, defied every conventional rule of automotive production. They would build a road car engine inspired by Formula One, not in marketing speak, but genuinely, obsessively, mechanically inspired by the principles of motorsport engineering. This wasn't about horsepower alone. It was about throttle response, about sound, about the purity of naturally aspirated power delivery. The S85 V10 was the result. 5 liters of displacement, 10 cylinders in a 90-degree V configuration, a red line of 8,250 revolutions per minute, 507 horsepower at 7,750 revolutions per minute. But these numbers don't tell the real story. The S85 breathed through 10 individual throttle bodies, one per cylinder. Each one opened and closed independently, responding to the driver's input with zero lag, zero hesitation. When you pressed the throttle, all 10 cylinders responded instantly. Above those throttle bodies sat a magnesium intake plenum, lightweight, intricate, almost sculptural. The kind of component that exists because every gram counts. Because this engine was designed with motorsport obsession. The camshafts were controlled by BMW's V10 system. The engine used a semi-dry sump lubrication system to keep oil pressure stable during high-speed cornering. The block was aluminum silicon alloy. The crankshaft was forged steel, balanced to tolerances measured in microns. And then there was the SMG3, sequential manual gearbox, a 7-speed automated manual that shifted with the brutality of a race car. No torque converter, no smooth shifts, just raw, mechanical precision. This was not a comfortable engine. It was not forgiving. It was designed for one thing, to deliver an experience that no other road car could match. Imagine this. You're sitting in an E60 M5. The engine fires. The idle is uneven, slightly rough, because this is a high-compression V10, not a turbocharged 4-cylinder. You pull the right paddle, first gear engages with a firm clunk. You press the throttle. At low revs, the S85 feels almost civilized. But then you cross 3,000 RPM, and everything changes. The engine's character transforms, the intake sharpens, the exhaust deepens, the 10 throttle bodies open wider, 5,000 revolutions per minute. The V10 begins to wail, not growl, not rumble, wail. A rising mechanical scream that sounds like nothing else on the road. 6,000 revolutions per minute. The cabin vibrates. You feel the rotating assembly spinning at thousands of revolutions per minute. You feel the pistons hammering. You feel the crankshaft converting combustion into rotation with relentless precision. 7,500 revolutions per minute. The sound is otherworldly now. A high-pitched howl that reverberates through your chest, drowns out rational thought. 8,000 revolutions per minute. You're at the edge, the red line. You shift. The SMG/SLAMS. Second gear home. The engine drops and begins climbing again. This is what the S85 was built to do. Not cruise highways, not sip fuel efficiently, but deliver an experience so raw, so unfiltered, so alive that every drive feels like an event. But perfection comes with a price. The S85's rod bearings were undersized for the forces they endured. Under hard use, they could wear prematurely, and if they failed, the engine destroyed itself, catastrophically. The SMG transmission was unforgiving. Clutch replacements were expensive, and in slow traffic, the gearbox was jerky, unpredictable, fuel economy was abysmal, maintenance intervals were short, parts were expensive. But here's the thing, these weren't design flaws, they were consequences. The S85 was built without compromise. It was designed to rev to 8,250 RPM, to respond instantly, to sound like a race engine. Those goals required precision engineering, exotic materials, tight tolerances. This was an engine built in an era when engineers, not accountants, made the final decisions. When performance mattered more than warranty claims, the S85 demanded respect. It demanded knowledge. It demanded commitment. And for those willing to give it, the engine rewarded them with something irreplaceable. The S85 V10 was produced from 2005 to 2010, 5 years, and then it was gone. The V10 M5 that replaced it came with a turbocharged V8, more torque, more efficiency, quieter, smoother, better by every objective measure, except one. It didn't feel like the S85. The V10 represented the peak of naturally aspirated BMW M engines. It was the last time BMW would build an engine that prioritized sound and response over emissions and fuel economy. The last time a production M car would rev past 8,000 RPM. Today, the S85 is a legend. Values are rising. Enthusiasts are hoarding them. Specialists are preserving these engines for future generations because people understand now what BMW understood then. Some machines are worth the trouble. Some experiences can't be replicated with turbos and computers and efficiency algorithms. The BMW S85 V10 wasn't just an engine. It was a statement, a declaration that perfection sometimes requires excess, that the pursuit of an ideal, even an impractical, unsustainable ideal, can create something transcendent. It was an engine built by people who believed that sound matters, that throttle response matters, that the feeling of 8,000 RPM matters more than a spec sheet. There will never be another S85. Not because engineers can't build it, but because the world won't let them. And maybe that's fitting, because some things aren't meant to last forever. They're meant to burn brightly, briefly, and leave a mark that never fades. The S85 changed BMW. And for those who heard that rising wail at 8,000 RPM, it changed everything.